So sitting here listening to everybody tell their stories, tell their truths, it's amazing how it all seems to tie together, even though they're all separate stories, but it's all comes back and it leads to the same place. And to me right now, that place seems to feel like powerlessness. I'm sitting there listening to everybody speak, and I'm feeling hopeless and helpless, even though I know that there is hope. But the more people are talking, the more I'm just sitting there starting to sink in myself, because the fact of the matter is they keep killing us. They keep killing us. And nobody seems to care. They keep killing us every day. Every day, and I know just the other day that we were speaking, and Brother Jihad sitting there, he said something. He said, I think it was you that said it, just we're all one traffic stop away from being a hashtag. You know, and you can't even put next hashtag in front of it, because the next keeps happening so much, you can't even be the next hashtag, you just a hashtag, because next already happened. So whenever you jump in there, you're not next, because it was one before you, and then it was one after you, so we end up being so, you're so, what's the word, so, yeah, so you're not big enough anymore because there's too many of them. And so that's my truth. I'm sitting here, I'm hurt and I'm angry. And even though I've heard every single one of these stories before, but it's so sickening to me that we have to fight to live. The only fight to live we should have had was that 9 months in the womb. The fact that my mother didn't fall down the stairs and kill me, the fact that I made it through all of that she went through, and coming out of that birth canal, that was the only fight I should have had to have. But now we got to kick and scratch just to live, and the only reason why we're doing it is because I'm browner than somebody else. That's the only thing I did wrong. And how is that wrong? My skin is beautiful. It's beautiful. My son's skin is beautiful. And the thing is, if you peel away my skin.
What about us killing us too? We have children out here that have killed each other. And then it's saying go too. And I'm one of those victims. And I haven't, nobody's touched on that.
But
it's going on. Now, sis, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to put that out there too, because I support the police. I mean, children who are being killed by the police. I support that, but nobody is talking about like our babies, or who's the ones this here is killing this here.
Okay, so let me address that. And the only thing that I asked, though, is we did ask to have order in the room. And so we want to make sure that we maintain order. Yeah. And I understand your frustration with that, but let me let you know this part is all of these protesters that you see, we stomp just as hard against violence, against so-called black on black violence, as we do against police brutality. And so and no, we see it. But we see it. But this event was strictly about police violence. So we do stuff just for stop the violence, crime, and all of that. We do stuff particularly just for that. But this is the thing too. In this situation, every single one of these folks ain't in jail and ain't nobody coming after them. When Pookie killed Lil J, he getting justice. Some kind of way justice is being served. So in this particular situation, we're talking about police violence. So, but I thank you for I understand your passion. You know, anything. Right. Yeah. Right. Well, we talk about it all the time. So. Yeah. Okay. Well, can I finish? Is that? All right. Okay. So, when I was listening to when Christine got up and she was speaking about what happened with her. And I've heard you speak so many times, Christine, just even out on the street protesting, and then, just when we've done the speaking tours, and I've heard you speak, and it's just every time I hear that video, though, because I've heard you speak so many times, but your voice in that video, because it's the intonation of your voice, the octave that your voice is at, I don't recognize that. And so every time I hear that, it hits a place that I've never heard it hit before. Even when I've heard you yelling at the police, I've never heard that happen before. And so that pierces my soul to know that I could feel your pain, because I could tell how much pain you're in, because I don't even recognize the place where your voice is. That's how much pain they put you in. When I'm sitting here, when I listen to Calvin give his testimony, I remember standing there watching the police do what they did to him. And I remember I was standing there and I was yelling so loudly. I almost urinated on myself, literally. I was yelling, "Get off of him, get off of him." And I got so close to the police, they didn't even know what to do with me, because they didn't know whether to hit me, knock me down, or if I was crazy. They didn't understand what was going on, because I got in a place where nobody else was. They didn't know what to do with me, but the only thing I could think about was do something, even though they might knock you down, do something, because they're going to kill him in front of everybody. And this is our family. Nobody stands up for our family. Nobody stands, and I don't mean protesters, I mean black folk. And I appreciate every single person that's not black that's in this room right now that has worked hard to stand for us. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, because we need you all. This young lady right here, Chocolate, as many times as she's been hurt by the police, she sits there and you would never know it, as many times as she's been hurt. They carried her dangling. Her body was like lifeless after they beat her in her head and carried her off. And she sits there quiet. You wouldn't even know it. As many times as Pastor Renita has gotten, I've seen her stand in between the police that wanted to hurt someone and that protester. She got in the middle, fearlessly slide in this much space, and she'll get in the middle. You're not going to touch him. Because of her white privilege, she can stand right in the middle. I've seen you do it so many times. She saved lives out there. Mama Cat has de-escalated some protesters to the point to where I've seen them walking off, and Mama Cat, calm down, we need you, calm down, because she knew where that thing was getting ready to go. I remember for me, well, before I even go there, for Shantae, watching that video, when that happened to your sister, I remember thinking, man, that's any one of us when we get in our car. At any time, that's any one of us. That could be any one of us at any time. Insert yourself here. That's really what that is. Insert yourself here. Because how do we know? She had no idea. She was geeked up on her new job.
The night in question up at the PD, when they knocked me out, there was another sister that got beat down up there with me. Her name is Jessica. She sit right there. I talked to her last week. They doing her bad. She going to trial for this case. She said, "Chocolate, you got other protest family, LV. I don't have nobody to stand up for me. I need some help." So what I'm gonna say is, we here for you, Francesca. Me, her, and Josh, a couple of more LVs, was sitting in the back of the paddy wagon. We shared that cell in that paddy wagon. I was dazed. I was unconscious. I didn't know what went on until I seen the footage of what they done to me. But she was out there too. They did her really bad too. And I just want y'all to know, when y'all see her, give her a hug and let her know that we're here for her.
That's right.
We've been through a lot, y'all.
That's right.
A lot. But guess what? We still here. I ain't going
Still,
nowhere.
that's right. And so I'll be brief with my story. We here with you, Francesca. You're not alone. And that's what truth telling is about. It's putting the information out there so people will know and people can act. Now that the information has been dropped on us, now we have to act. You can't hear the information, and then that's why you hear the information, because you're supposed to do something. That's why God allows you in that space, because you have something that you can do with the information. We're not here for nothing. My story is brief as I can tell it, because we need to get to the healing. On the night of the announcement to not indict old Darren Wilson, I went out there as a protester, but when I got out there, I was out there and Jihad was with me. And we went out there as protesters. That's all we were thinking, but I knew that it would go down that night, so I made sure I had my backpack and had all my supplies in it, and went out there with my backpack on, and everybody knows I don't usually wear my backpack out there. You all hardly ever see me with a backpack on, but this night I had my backpack on, and I just noticed that it was so many people from out of town, and I guess people just wanted to merge on to Ferguson because they felt like something was going to happen. So many people were there, and they had never been tear gassed before, so people were like getting tear gassed and was just freaking out. I mean, it was like they was just really just having a time. And so I ended up switching from protest mode to medic mode, and I'm just going around helping everybody. It was just so many people to help. And I remember at one point they just tear gassed us so much, they just kept dropping it. You couldn't even get your breath, kept dropping it. And so we've been tear gassed so much at this point now, it usually doesn't faze me, but this particular night it was so much and it wasn't going anywhere. It was like in that bowl, it just wasn't going anywhere. So I remember we went up the side street, up there in between the Andy Worm lot and the subway. We went up that street just to get away from some of the tear gas. And I remember going up the street and hearing somebody cry out saying, "Help, help, my mom needs help. My mom is having a heart attack." And thinking to myself, okay, you're a nurse, but you don't have to do anything. Nobody out here knows you're a nurse. Keep going. And so literally that's what I started to do. I kept going. And then I kept hearing it again. "Oh, somebody help, my mom, she's having a..." And I'm thinking, okay, looking around, nobody else is helping. So I remember I went back to go help, and he started yelling out, that I needed to help her. So I was stuck. I had to go back and help. And I'm just being honest. I just didn't want to get involved. And so I went back, and I started to help the lady, and by the time I got to her, she just melted down the side of a car. They had pushed her up against the car. Her eyes were rolling in the back of her head, and she just started literally melting off the car. Her body just went. And so I remember I caught her with my knee. I put my knee up between her legs and caught her, and I was able to help her down to the ground. And she just called out 2 medications. And when she said those 2 medications, I knew that meant she could be having a heart attack. And so I started to help her, and I just remember I just kept smacking her in her face and doing this, "Stay with me, stay up." And she just kept rolling her eyes in the back of her head. And so anyway, someone called 911, but we knew that 911, that the ambulance wouldn't get through because we were blocked in. So we decided, okay, about 6 or 8 guys came, and they said, okay, well, let's just pick her up, and let's carry her down the hill. Now, at the bottom of the hill was the Unified Command with the tanks and everything, and then behind that was Ferguson PD and Ferguson Police Department. But that was the only thing we could do to try to get her some help. So they said, let's pick her up and let's run her down there. But we see MSNBC or we see Don Lemon, CNN, and MSNBC, they're out there broadcasting right now together, and they were up under one tent. It was dark outside, but they had the light shining. So we said, well, hey, if we run the body through the broadcast, because they were both live broadcasts, if we run the body through the broadcast, if they shoot us, at least it'll be on camera and it'll be live, and somebody will know that they shot us. So we did just that. They're carrying the lady. I'm rubbing her chest, doing this. Lisa, stay awake. Lisa, come back. Lisa, don't die. And I just kept doing it as we're going down. And I'm steady beating her, and now her tongue is doing this. And so as we approached Unified Command, we did just what we said. We bust through the middle of the broadcast as Don Lemon was broadcasting. And someone else, I don't remember who it was, but we bust right through them. But we shouted, "She's having a heart attack, she's having a heart attack." And I'm yelling, I'm the nurse, she's having a heart attack. The guns went like this. Now, mind you, the police are in full guard. They had on that fatigue, that brown fatigue, and their faces were completely covered. You can tell if it was a man or a woman. You know, everything was covered, and they had on their gas mask stuff. They looked like something off of a movie, like an alien movie. And I remember they put the guns up. Drop her. So people did just that. They just dropped her. It was some sticker bushes. Anybody that remembers that knows where I'm talking about. It's little bushes right there. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to drop her on these bushes. And other people did. They just started to let her go. And I said, and I was like, no, drop her, no. And I said, no, I'm the nurse helping her. And I'm still doing this in their face. I don't want her to die. I'm the nurse helping her. No, you drop her. I said, no, you're the police. You're not equipped or qualified to help her. I need a paramedic. I need to make sure she's safe. I'm still doing this. They didn't like my answer. So they grabbed me. They pulled her away from me. They grabbed me. Now, at this point, I didn't know. You couldn't have told me what was about to happen was going to happen, because I was just helping somebody. They picked me up like a toy doll, threw me on the ground. When they threw me on the ground, I realized once I was on the ground that I was on the ground, that they actually picked me up and threw me on the ground. I'm on the ground, and all of a sudden, I start feeling my body going to the side. I didn't even really feel the pain. I just kept feeling my body going to the side, and I saw feet like boots. And then that's when I realized, oh my God, they are stomping me. And I'm in a circle. Police, I'm in the middle, and they're around me like this, having a field day, doing this to my body. And I'm going from side to side, and I'm thinking the whole time. And I'm like, wait a minute. They stomping me. This is the police. If I stay down here, they're going to kill me. So I remember I jumped up off the ground, and I know I can't give no credit to nothing or nobody else but the Lord, because he allowed me to jump up off the ground. I jumped up off the ground from whatever, the adrenaline or whatever it was, and I remember I jumped up off the ground and I said, stop, wait, I'm the nurse. I said, I'm the nurse helping her. And in that moment, though, what I didn't realize was that my bandana had come down off of my face, and I noticed I didn't see the police anymore. Even though I was circled by the police, I didn't see them. And I was like, all I saw was green. And then I felt the burning, intense burning down my throat. And then it was like my throat closed. And I remember saying, oh my God, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I have asthma. I can't breathe. She's lying. Arrest her. I'm like, no, I can't breathe. She's lying. One gun on my head like this. Officers pick me up, one here, one there, and one behind me, and you see how small I am. Why does it take 3 or 4 officers to pick me up? They picked me up like this. The gun was still at my head. Arrest her. And then the next thing I just remember, I woke up on the floor in the Ferguson Police Department because I fainted on the way from there to the inside the building. Or I passed out because I couldn't breathe. I woke up on the floor of Ferguson Police Department. No, Ferguson PD Fire Department with the paramedics. They had the mask on my face, and they were kind of talking to me. And I woke up, and I started breathing. I was, panicking because I didn't understand what was going on. And I started breathing, but I remember this. I remember coming to, and this in my head. And I was, what is that in that dang gun on my head? And then when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. I was too busy trying to breathe, but looking at that long gun on my head like I'm some kind of what they call us, terrorists. It took the paramedic. He said, he was trying to tell me, calm down, and finally he got tired. And so he decided he would do something about it, and he knocked the gun off of my head and said, she's not lying. And the police officer withdrew and ended up walking away, and I was able to leave. But that night, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I couldn't even stop moving. I did this for hours. I couldn't stop moving. I couldn't sit. My mind couldn't even understand how to sit down. I couldn't figure it out. I just kept shaking. And it was because it wasn't, if I was doing something wrong, then I could have said, well, then I could have expected a certain thing to have happened. I know if I go out there and I do a certain thing, I'll protest and then something could happen to me. But when I was trying to help somebody, so that just really messed my mind up. So I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat for 2 weeks. I spontaneously cried. I would just break out crying. I would be at work and I'm crying. People would say, hey, Cori, how you doing? And I would just start crying just because I would all of a sudden just start to see that again. And the way that I felt in that moment, I remember feeling so helpless and hopeless because for me, I'm a victim of rape. I've been raped 4 times in my life. The 5th time I tried to kick his butt. Before I've been raped that many times in my life, and I remember thinking in those moments, if somebody would just call the police, if somebody would just yell out, if somebody would walk past, if somebody would come in the room, if somebody would just, then I would be okay. But in the moment when it's the police that does it to you, then on the ground down there, I felt completely helpless and hopeless. Who helps me now? Who comes now? So now I'm out in society walking around, and you know what? I don't know who it was that was kicking me because they had their faces. I don't know who it was. So I could be standing next to him, and I wouldn't know you was the one that put your foot in my chest. And I'm almost done. I remember the next day or 2 days later, I pulled up at a gas station. My kids were in the car, pulled up at Quick Trip. And it was a police car. I pulled up at this pump. It was a police car at this pump. And I didn't really notice it. I just pulled up. But when I saw that police car, my reaction was, ah! I could have hit the next pump. I wasn't even looking at that. To get away from it because of the fear. My kids were like, Mama, what's wrong? What's wrong? I said, I can't be by the police. But that's how we have to live. That's how we live now. This is what they do to... This is what they do to black folk and brown folk. Thank you.
I don't have to. If you had a chance right now to give anybody any advice on how to either fight the fight better or what could be better beneficial to this fight, what would it be?
I would say it would be strong unity, and it's strong unity, not just black folk unity. We need unity with brown folk. We need unity with white folk. We need unity because the thing is, it's certain doors we can't kick in by ourselves. So we need some strong unity. They're afraid of us being with the Native Americans. They're afraid of us being with the Mexicans. They're afraid of us being with the Asians. They're afraid of that. They don't want us to come together. They don't want to see that because they know once we do that, it's over. So that's what I would say. I would say the silos that we've built up in our own minds that keep us from connecting with other groups, I would say that's the thing that's holding us back. So releasing all of that and just saying, let's just fight the system. Let's show the system what the new system is about to be, the one that we implement, the one that we put in place, the one that we make them follow after.
When you think about justice, what is it that you see?
I don't even know what justice is. I don't know what justice is, so I don't see anything because I grew up thinking that justice was a certain thing, and I found out when Mike Brown happened that we never had justice. You know, I was fed that lie, go to school and get a good education and go to college, get into a good college and get you a good degree. And when you do that thing, then you get you a good husband and y'all have some kids, y'all get y'all a nice house, and everything gonna be fine. They lied to me. They never did tell me that, oh, by the way, they whooping y'all tails every day, they killing you. They ain't tell me that. So I don't know what justice is. I don't know. I ain't never seen it. All I know what it's like to grow up as a dark girl that gets third out of, I can't even just be black. I get to be the dark black girl. So, I don't even know, I don't know what justice looks like. Because when people see me, they see a threat. Or they see me, they see ghetto. They see ratchet. But they don't know that I could walk up to you and heal your asthma right now. I don't have asthma because I can't heal myself. I got asthma because I decided I got tired. But I could walk right now and I could start fall out on the floor and say, you know what, devil, you a lie. Get up, Cori, and get right back up. God used me to heal the 3-year-old girl that had never walked before, and she walks to this day. To this day. But only thing people see when they see me is this little black girl.
That is all. Amen. Thank you for being a part of the Truth Initiative.